So we start recording, and then. All right, here we go. Hi, and welcome to Mom Talk, episode 17.
Wow.
I'm Jen.
I'm Tanya.
And I am drinking caramel... Coney Island caramel.
There you
coffee.
go. And I'm drinking something with the word cinnamon.
I know,
in the title.
It's like intense. I can smell it from here.
I don't know what it's called. I really wanted to remember, but...
Cinnamon something. Is there any other
It'd be
flavor in
good.
it? Or is it just cinnamon?
Coffee flavor.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I got my daughter hooked on this
That's
weekend?
my joke.
Coffee flavored.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Which just wasn't that funny. Go ahead.
I introduced Renee to
Grandmother's coffee.
Tim Hortons French vanilla cappuccinos.
Oh.
So I found like the K-Cup box of it in the store or whatever, and so I introduced her to it. And at first she was like, well, it's coffee. I'm like, well, it's not coffee. And then we looked on the ingredients, and it technically has coffee in it.
Yes.
But I was like, it doesn't taste anything like coffee.
No.
I'm like, it's like a glorified hot chocolate.
She
like,
loves hot chocolate.
Yes. And so she tried some of mine. She was like, this is how she tries it. She goes, I didn't really get a sip. I think I need another one. Mom, can I just finish it?
Nice.
I said, yes.
Nice. That's funny.
I knew she'd like it, though.
Yeah. I've been in the situations where my dad had shot a partridge and cooked it up.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's so good, by the way.
I had in my mind that I wouldn't like it because it's disgusting. It's a random bird, whatever. So I made such a big deal about it. So I made such a big deal about it that I wouldn't like this. And he's like, you have to try it. I was like, fine. I put it in my mouth and I went off to my room and was like, it's so gross. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, it tastes so good.
So good.
But I'm too stubborn to do anything about it. And I have never eaten partridge to this day.
I've had partridge once.
And it's very disappointing.
I still love it.
It was really good. It was like chicken, but better tasting. It was. I really want to. So, Dad, if you ever shoot a partridge,
we'll eat it
and cook it. I will eat it. Thank you.
I have wanted a partridge since I had for so long.
Me too,
so
but I mean, I can get past it now. But that was
so much so that I'm like,
maybe it was the same time. Like maybe they went together and you guys got it one. We have.
I've been waiting for the days because my husband doesn't hunt, and so I'm like, when will my dad take James hunting, and then maybe they'll get partridge.
So, Mom, when you're watching, go ask Dad to go hunting for partridge, and cook it for us. Yes. So I have a TikTok. Well, I have two TikToks, but we're just going to do the first one that I sent you first.
They're both sent at 8:31.
Oh, jeepers. You want to do this? Okay, this one's first.
Right there. Okay. Let's see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Be like, I need a therapist. I got my besties. No, you and your besties need a therapist soon. Now.
Soon. Now.
I saw a video that's similar to this, and I almost sent it to you because I was like, neither of us have gone in a while.
We're about due. And the issue is instead of us going to therapy, we came to you.
So thanks for that.
It's cheaper-ish. We did buy stuff to do this. It's not cheaper.
But I laugh a lot more.
It has been good. I laugh definitely a lot more doing this than therapy. And laughing a lot. So this is good therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely I really like that. Like soon. Now. And we'll see with our Father's Day special coming up, maybe our husbands are like, yeah, you still need to do therapy with mom's talk. And go laugh, cry.
It all balances out. You got to get the emotions processed somehow. The other day at the trailer,
Okay.
Jack rammed this toy into Eliza, and so my mom was like, you need to apologize. He wouldn't apologize, so she said, you have to go sit on the bed in the back until you're ready to apologize. Right. And so they took them a while to get him back there, but he eventually got back there, and then he got off the bed, and my mom said, are you ready to apologize? And he said, yes. I just had to process it first. My mom tells me the story. She goes, he's been listening to you two too much. Us too?
Shocking! That's hilarious. Aww.
I just had to process it.
Aww. That's cute. But true. It's true. And he does seem like, yes, I use that word, but we've said that even before he said that word. Like, it seemed like he needed time to process, like that emotional, like, yeah, like when you guys were driving and it took him like that 15, 20 minutes to process and be able to move on. So
yeah,
that's really funny though that she's been listening to you guys too much. Well, we do play Mom Talk on repeat while he goes to bed.
Pour him to sleep.
Go to sleep or we'll put on another Mom Talk. And it reminded me, but that also, us acting like teenagers when we get together.
Yes.
And the silliness. And, like, I'll never forget VBS when we were getting ready. It was, like, factory... The factory one? Or... No, it wasn't Makerspace. It was, like, factory something. Yeah. And we were, like, pulling apart those big pipes thing and, like, and just laughing. Lots of laughing. And I think it's funny to see, like, say Gary, who has seen us grow up and then get together and then act like teenagers. It's like he's probably just like, oh.
And like, I never want to go back to high school again, and I don't ever want to be a teenager again. Same. But it is fun to
have those moments.
Have fun.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree completely.
I don't have fun enough, so it's really nice to be able to have fun.
It is, and I think it's really important and therapeutic. So, but speaking of teenagers, when does that hormone stuff start in your girls? Like 9.5? It's like yesterday was hard. Not even...
I am terrified for the teenage years.
But like yesterday, I felt so bad for Cadence. She kept getting so irritable. My mom used to say, I'm so irritable, I just want to like bite the head off a snake. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Wow, like that is some strong words. That's when, like, during her time of the month, and we talked about that when I was coming up to adolescence, of how irritable she would feel and had no necessarily not necessarily a reason for it.
Right.
And I felt like that for Cadence yesterday, and she would go through these waves of just everything would like get to her, and she'd be irritable and nasty and blah, and then she'd feel horrible for it, like, and then it would happen again, and she would try to pull it around and try to change it up, and then I just felt really bad. It started right in the morning. We had the 5K walk at the church, and she didn't understand what was happening. And I didn't have long enough to explain everything so that she could process it. And she got stressed out. Was stressed that we were behind when like the bikers and the runners all went ahead, and then the walkers, and it was really hard, and I just really felt for her. And then I often I lose my cool. I get frustrated. I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I actually did pretty well with it yesterday. But then we were wanting to do something in the afternoon, and she was like, I'm just going to sit in the car. And I'm like, you're not going to just sit in the car while we go and do something. Like we were going to take the bikes up to the school and play and ride bikes and stuff. And so I said, how about you go to Grandma and Grandpa's? She didn't want to go. She didn't want anybody to see her like that. She was like curled up beside me, not wanting to leave me. Like in the car, like came up on the thing, and I understood, but then at the same time I was like, you know how as couples you can have those days where you're just bickery back and forth? And I'm like, it feels like it's not going to change unless like an environment shifts. Like either go and have some time away, clear your head and come back. So I talked to my mom before and she said, no, like bring her. And I was like, I really don't want to have to force her to go, but I couldn't see the alternative working out well. Anyways, she did go and it was really helpful and good.
Yeah.
And she came around and then I gave her choices like when we were leaving, do you want me to pick you up now or after I go get groceries? She was like now at the start and then waited a little bit and then I picked her up. But yeah, it just reminds me, and I remember my mom saying that it was a couple years before that she started noticing that every month kind of that happening, but I'm like, what is it?
It's rough. I know Renee had, like today, Renee had a difficult day and like a very roller coaster, like what you were describing with Peyton's like this, and like what's really hard is that she wants, like she doesn't want to treat people badly.
Yeah.
And yet she does, and then she's very upset and regrets what she's done. But even that, like processing through those emotions, like it's very just emotionally up and down, and it's so very draining. Yeah. But I've been trying really, really hard to just have more patience. Not necessarily like me, like trying to stay calm.
Yes.
Like, even though I'm very frustrated and I'm not just like, I'm not trying to just let them get away with whatever, but I'm just trying to just say, here's what I've decided. I'm not moving until we get to this. Yeah. And like, just trying to
stay calm.
To stay calm because it's
tricky.
And you're tested at every...
Yeah. Well, and there's always different stages, right? Like you, like, not conquer, but you get through this and then there's something else. But the other thing too is I have an IUD, so I don't get my period. So I'm like, always like, if I had my period, maybe it'd be easier to see if we were like on the same cycle and if it was happening at the same time to kind of see if that was what it is.
Maybe that'd be worse because then you'd be emotional.
It's true. I should just like mark it on the calendar or something, but I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. But so yeah. How was your week? You went on a field trip.
I did go on a field trip. We went treetop trekking.
Yes.
I have been saying this for like the last 3 weeks. My husband did not hear the E in trekking. He heard a U. And so he went to work at truck. He heard trucking. He told his boss that I took my class tree trucking. And we didn't know what that was.
That sounds fun though.
And he's like, is it logging? I don't know. And I was
amazing. What were you saying before? Say it fast, like without...
Treetop trekking.
Okay. It doesn't sound like... Because I know what you're saying, but I can also hear how somebody else would be like, trucking? Because it's...
Anyway.
Treetop trekking. It sounds like it to me.
Oh my goodness, though. I was like so proud of myself. So my boss was like, I was mentioning to her that like the kids really wanted me to go on the zip line and I wasn't sure. And she was, you can't show any fear in front of them. Like you have to go back. It's like, I said, I also don't want to have a panic or an anxiety attack.
And then,
so I said, I'm just going to play it by ear and I'm just going to go with what I feel comfortable with in the moment.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of myself. I would totally go again.
That's awesome.
But I've always been like this, like, if there's nobody, for lack of better words, if there's nobody weaker than me, then I'll easily be the weak one and, like, be like, I can't take that risk or whatever. But when someone else is more afraid than me or more whatever, it's very easy for me to step up and be, be brave, right? And so there was a student who, like, partway through was like, I was like, yes. And she's like, and I was like, oh, honey, you don't. But like in my head at the same time, I was like,
how do you get down?
How much longer is it? Because there was like you go from tree to tree in one fashion, and then you go from this tree to the next tree in a different fashion, and I just kept thinking, when does it end?
Yeah.
Like, there was just they're only little things to go from tree to tree, but I just thought, this is never going to end.
Right.
But then once I knew that she was afraid, and
you were able to step up, and then that's really cool.
And then it was really cool because she got down off of the first one. I gave her a big hug, and she said, "Can I just hang out with you?" I said, "Well, you can, but I actually really want to go on another one." And she was like, "Okay, well, if you're going on another one, I'll go on
really
another
cool.
one." So she went, and it was amazing because the second one, she was so much faster, and like the guide and myself were both like, "Look what you accomplished! Look what you did!"
That's
and like
awesome.
she was really like,
Yeah.
She still went home and told her mom she never wants to go again.
My favorite was you were exhausted. You came in the door. You were like, the teachers were standing around. Something else was happening of like confusion, trying to figure out. And I was like, "Did you like it?" And you're like, "It was so much fun." And I love that. I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
like,
I was
really excited for you that you
go again.
had fun with that." And I was glad that so their teacher, the grade 7-8 teacher, is on mat leave right now, and she was able to go. Like, she's had the baby, and she was able to go for that one
She didn't
day.
participate, but
Yes, but I thought
nice
that
to
was
see.
that was very, very cool. So,
And it was really cool because I really wanted a second thing with my field trip, and so we stopped in Gananoque on the way back. I put out on Facebook, "Does anybody know any good ice cream places?" And a friend of a friend's commented and gave me a list of, she lives in that area, and gave a number of places, and one of them was called, I'm going to give a shout out here, it was called
if she remembers,
Pump House Creamery in Gananoque, and we were so impressed. It was like right at like the water, there's like a little dam there, and it was like right there, and we went in. It's just this tiny little shop, and here I bring, like, there's 9 kids, 2 adults, so 11 of us.
Yeah.
And they were out of regular cones. They upgraded everybody to the waffle cones, and it should have cost more than $5, but he charged every kid who got just the single cone with the waffle $5.
Aww.
And they were so nice chatting with us.
That's very cool.
Like,
very cool.
It was so cool, and it was such good ice cream, like all organic ingredients, natural, like what are they called? Free range eggs, like
what about your
everything.
students who's lactose free? Was she able?
Oh yes, because my boss is so smart. I was telling her that this student was nervous about whether I'd remember to bring the pill or not, and she went, "Go downstairs right now and put a pill in your purse." So I did.
That's good.
And then I'm glad I did, because I totally
would have forgot.
And maybe I wouldn't have, because I knew it was in my purse. I was able to like put it out of my mind.
But still.
But it was really nice to have that. So she got her pill, she got her ice cream, and that's really so good. We were really, really happy, and the kids really enjoyed it. And then we were like doing the game like this on the way home.
Oh yes, with the truckers.
Yes,
So much fun.
and we got 5 truckers in a row.
That's amazing. See, that was the part of the treetop trucking. That was that part. You got them to honk their horns. Yeah, you did the tree chop thing, and then now the trucking thing.
Yeah, they loved it that I was participating. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
It is nice to do those things. So I have one more TikTok, and then leads us to the conversation from last week a little bit, but also the fun. Always got to have the fun.
Fun. All right. Oh, now I don't know how to use TikTok.
Okay.
All right.
This one. I've seen other ones like this, and I've liked them a bit better, but this gets the concept. Woo! It's loud again.
Giant messy dinner at our house tonight.
So loud.
Kids super excited.
Recently.
Grant not as much.
Would your kids
So, yes,
Success.
we're going to do it. I don't
husband is gonna do this?
He was the one who was like, we should do this, and I agreed completely. It might not be like that. Like, we might do taco, I'm not sure, but we are definitely going to do this because
I can't believe your husband.
Why?
Because he likes everything separate and
not like
touching.
if it goes in his head, whatever. But he's sorry, such tone. But he's very much like the experience. So like his parents were like proper, like, this is how you sit, this is how you do the fork. He's, obviously we hope for manners, but like every time we have spaghetti, he gets the kids to chuck it on the ceiling to see if it's ready. We have spaghetti lines on our ceilings, like if we forget, and then we don't usually forget.
You can just eat it too.
No, but if it stays up there. Oh, if you just eat it to... No, but that's not fun.
No,
but we always do. This is the thing that we do. We have things. We all have things, and this is one of them. When we have spaghetti, the kids toss it on the door or the ceiling to see if it's ready.
Fun.
It is. It's so much fun. The kids love it. And we love it too.
Great.
And so, the next phase of that is going to be trying that on the table.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't see that going well with my family.
I don't think it would go well with your family either.
James is very particular about dirt.
Yes.
And touching and mixing, I don't think would go very well.
And I think, that's dependent on your family. Not all families it would. I can also see Jack going, I don't see, at this point, it being...
I would rather do something at camp where they'd, have you eat with utensils that were, the big giant utensils instead of,
that's fun, too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
The other thing where I've seen this and I really like is a nacho party, where they put the nachos all around the edges and the toppings in front, so you can put your own toppings on your nachos in front of you, but it's right on the table. That was a lot of words for one breath. But yeah, we're definitely gonna do it.
Interesting.
And I love that I saw it and was like, that's so cool. And then he saw it and was like, we should totally do this. So I was like, yes, we are doing that. So
enjoy.
Thank you. I will.
Not.
So, exciting news this week. We have been hoping that Cadence would get into a program that is specifically for literacy, like reading, writing. And when we were told about the program, they said it's very limited number of students. So in our whole district, 24 students at that time. I don't know if it's changed. And 8 for the school that Cadence goes to that would get into the program. And it's for grade 5, 6. And typically, because they're trying to get people before they go to high school, it's only grade 6s that get the spots. But Cadence gets extra support for reading, and she really, really, really wants to read. Her goal is to read a chapter book without pictures. And
hey, don't knock pictures!
I know, but I'm like, that is also a really good goal, and I get that. So we've had 2 professionals who are kind of connected to the committee, but not really, right? And they're not that they can do anything, because obviously the need has to come higher, but they were trying to prepare me that it's unlikely. But also saying they felt she would be a really, really good candidate. And we found out this week that she got in. So that was really exciting. And her student support teacher called and we were talking on the phone, and both of us were over talking each other because we were both really excited. And so I was really, really thankful for that. And Cadence is very happy as well. So we are looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Very, very thankful for that.
I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. I do too.
And then she gets the support, because I know you've been trying to provide a lot of support extracurricularly, right? And it becomes draining to be driving all the time to different places
expensive.
And arranging with people and schedules, and to be able to get that support she needs in school hours will be really helpple.
Yeah.
And the intensity, right? It'll be
exactly. So it'll be the first 100 minutes of every day. And then the 2 extra 100-minute blocks will be with her regular classroom. But
it's cool.
Yeah, so we're really looking forward to that and very hopeful. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So last week we talked about food pickiness.
Oh, right. Sorry, I skipped over because I forgot that. But that's what that TikTok was going to be.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add that, and I noticed a comment last week, someone mentioned the same thing that I wanted to talk about, was texture. Because texture is a huge thing, a huge component for me and my taste. So for example, growing up, I hated onions, but it wasn't the taste of onions that I didn't like. It was the feel of them in my mouth.
Okay, that slimy kind of feeling or
so
whatever.
I could handle something mixed with onion powder, I had no trouble with. I could do onion dip, but like sour cream and onion, good with. But to have like chunks, especially raw onion. So my mom ended up learning how to cut the onion a little bit smaller. And as an adult, I cut it like as small as I can. But yeah, that was huge, the texture in my mouth. And like the story I was telling you about the hamburger, like it was all about the onion texture in my mouth. Interesting. And like pickles are the same way. Like there's some pickles I like and some pickles I don't like, just depending on how it feels in my mouth. Yeah. And so that's always really interesting to have.
You know where I get that? I'm better-ish as an adult, but I don't go for this very often, but is yogurt. I used to gag on yogurt all the time. Interesting. I'm better if it's Greek yogurt because it's thicker, but if I have regular yogurt, I typically gag on it.
I never liked yogurt as a kid. Yeah. We always had the like fruit on the bottom type. My parents didn't buy it a whole lot, but when they did, that's kind of what they bought, like the cheap yogurt. And I was, like you said, like I didn't like the way it felt in my mouth, but I do like the Greek yogurt. It's much better.
Yeah, Greek yogurt is good. It's thicker and it doesn't make me gag, which is always helpful.
So I know like texture. And so my son, James, he often complains that he doesn't like meat. And so one thing that I do for him is I cut it up into really small pieces, because what I found was it's not that he doesn't like meat. He finds it really taxing to chew all the time.
I remember as a kid, pork chops especially, having to chew and my jaw feeling tired.
Yeah, and
so smaller. I do that even as an adult.
Smaller pieces. And like if we cut and sometimes like in my head I'm thinking like, oh, this is so silly, like he's so old and I'm cutting this meat up so small, but it really helps him, and he's not able to cut it his own meat yet. Yeah. So just cutting it in that smaller pieces, because like he needs the protein and he needs to have he needs to eat meat. Yeah. And he likes it. Like he'll often say, "What was that? Can we have that again?"
Yeah. And like, but I actually do remember that.
Yeah. Or if he takes too big, he doesn't. It's hard for him to regulate how much to put in his mouth, and so if he gets
and then you get it like this huge wad of meat.
I hated that as a kid. And, it was so awful. Yeah. So just helping him with like smaller bites is good.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like I think the biggest thing about it is it's what works for you. Like say the spaghetti thing, or like that muffin tray last week of having options, or like having a divider plate where they at least have 3 choices within a meal. But like it's finding something that works and try not to get too hard on yourself.
And I like how you talked last week about like just providing options. Like, so what if your kid eats chicken nuggets and fries every single day? If like you provide another option for them, it's there, you're trying. Like,
and as they get older, we did. Oh, I don't know what I thought you were doing, but for some reason, my instinct was that there was like a bug or something.
No,
and that you were going to swat it, and I did not know what was happening.
Sorry, it's so hard for me. Go. When you say getting older, it's also another thing I was reading about is that children have more taste buds than adults.
I've heard that too, and so it's intense flavors.
Yes, so it's harder for kids to eat a lot of variety. It can be harder for kids to eat a variety of strong, bold tastes, because it feels so much more intense to them, especially if your child has any sensory issues whatsoever. That can be really... That's why they want bland, plain food. So I thought that was interesting. Just having that, like
in that thought, your thoughts, right? But yeah, like no, that's okay. But as they got a bit older, we would say like you need to have a bite of that broccoli before you have anything else, or those kind of things.
Learn, like I remember James saying like, I don't like the stalk part, but I don't mind the top. I was like,
fine,
great, take a bite of.
We also called them trees. We didn't. Cadence actually came up with it, and we nicknamed it. But we would say broccoli trees, and then she's like, "I'm eating the trees." And
sure, what that look like?
Yeah,
having fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
having fun, like throwing spaghetti on your wall. Stealing. I'll have Jack over, and we'll have spaghetti.
Oh, don't you dare teach him that
together.
Don't you dare.
So we have some stuff coming up.
Yes, we do.
We have next Sunday, is
Father's Day.
yes, and we are going to set up the camera in front of our men folk.
Our husbands.
And we're hoping that it's okay and there's not too much editing. Kaden said there definitely will be lots of editing because Brian will say stuff that's inappropriate. It's like she nailed, like...
Have faith in him, even if his own family doesn't.
You love him more. I'm being more realistic. She's like, oh, Brian, you can do this.
I'm optimistically naive.
Yeah, it's okay. It will be good, and we will have fun, and it'll be therapy for us all that day.
For us all. It'll be really great. So join us next week.
Yes.
Should I tell my Father's Day story? I was saying, I'm going to do it anyways.
Yes.
We were at the store the other day, and we were walking down the aisle, and my husband kind of stopped, and he was looking at this, I don't know, table saw clamps thing. And
you know what we're talking about, right?
He does. Yeah. Anyways, he was staring at it. I was like, do you want it? I don't know what to get you for Father's Day. If you want it, put it in the cart. And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, come on, if you want it, just put it in the cart. We'll get it. Well, I ended up walking on because I have a hard time in stores standing in one spot for a long time when I'm not looking at something I want to look at. Mm-hmm. And so he ended up coming around to find me, and he didn't have the thing. And I was like, where is it? And he goes, well, now that I know my budget's $130, the door's just flung open.
I love that so much. Yeah, I love that. So many options. Yeah.
Yeah. So still no Father's Day present for him. I don't know.
Not yet. He'll be looking. Maybe. I don't know. And then after that, the next week, after.
Yes. Excited. We're doing a live show. Yeah. Join us on June 26th, right?
Yes.
At
8:30. We're hoping she's there. We're hoping she remembers.
Just show up where they tell me to.
I think it's neat. So I was talking to my mom about this, and I said we've actually had a fair amount of people like, subscribe, share, tag people, and she said I don't see that, but it's because like you share the talk, I share the talk, Scott shares the talk, somebody, and then it kind of connects
admins, right?
Plus we're admins, so we see all of that. So, but it's been really nice to see.
So go on our Facebook page and find our post and like it, share it, comment on it, and we will enter you into our draw that we're having at our live show. Our prize pack includes a devotional that's called Because Crack is Illegal.
Yeah.
And a coloring book and a box of chocolates, which is currently out of stock on Amazon.
Oh, well, we'll figure it out.
So
we'll figure something out.
It'll be chocolates.
Hopefully.
And hopefully, I'm just waiting. I'm like, maybe by then they'll come back into stock.
They most likely will.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And set your alarms for 8:30 or 8:25, June 26th, because we really would like to chat with people.
I think it'll be a lot of fun if we have...
It would be really nice.
Like a good number of people watching with us and commenting.
Shauna, Stacy, I'll start calling people. We will call people.
Yes! Get on!
If we do not see you here, we are calling people. So that's the 26th.
26th. So we're excited. So thank you for liking us on Facebook and following us, giving us the thumbs up. Follow us on YouTube. You can hit the bell to subscribe.
My mom does not know what that meant. I said it's just subscribe. She's like, I don't know what bell they're talking about. I'm like,
when you're on YouTube, there's a bell that you can click on.
Poor mom, we stressed her right out. She's trying to be all supportive.
That's me, Donna Butcher.
And Brian Hendrick.
Anyways, thanks guys for hanging out with us another day. We will see you next week with our husbands.
Bye.
Bye-bye.